Hey guys, welcome to JReviews. I am Iceman, and the game cover today is Elden Ring. Elden Ring is an action RPG style game done in the Souls-like genre, which if you're not familiar with that type of game, they are hard as hell action RPG style games that are intentionally difficult, where every choice could be fatal, but at the same time are games that are fair once you get to know the game systems and how everything works. In either case, the game was developed by From Software and released in February of 2022. To say that this game was a success is a major understatement. It went on to sell over 30 million copies across several platforms. I played through the game in 2023 and massively enjoyed the game, and can see why people enjoyed it. The story to the game, as usual for Souls-likes, is very bare bones, with the vast majority being for the player to interpret. The main takeaway is that the game takes place in a place called the Lands Between, that is ruled over by numerous demigods. An event occurred in the past which shattered the land, and you go forth to try and repair what is known as the Elden Ring, and to become the next Elden Lord. All of this is told to you via the opening cinematic to the game. Overall narrative to the game is told primarily via cutscenes that occur in-game, and also through talking to the various non-player characters that you encounter. The general feel of the game is a mixture. This was the first game in the Souls series by From Software to go fully open world. So immediately on the open world aspect, it draws parallels to great games like Zelda Breath of the Wild, The Witcher 3, Fallout New Vegas, and many more. Add that in with the traditional gameplay of the Souls games, and you're in for a truly unique experience with this one. So there are definitely games that this game reminds me of, but then it is a beast all of its own in many other ways. The graphics to this game are outstanding. This is one beautiful game. From the look across vast distances of mountains, forests, ocean, and so much more. It's just really well done stuff, with graphics that look very realistic. Great work by the developers on this aspect. The game features day and night cycles that play out, and weather events like wind, rain, and so on, that all look like they do in real life. All very good stuff. As previously mentioned, the game features cutscenes that play out at key points in the game. Some are for narrative purposes, and others are just to show key events that go down. All of these are very well done, and all done in the game's engine. Music to the game is primarily symphony, orchestra style classical stuff. All of it is very well done, but nothing that springs to mind with specific tunes or anything. It never gets in the way or is annoying. The majority I would call more background ambient style stuff that sets a mood. In the dungeons, it sets a tense kind of tone, making you feel on edge, and in boss battles it ramps up with a foreboding sense of dread that can make you really fear the battle to come. Overall, it's excellent music, but nothing that you'd likely have in your video game soundtracks playlist, or anything like that. So the game itself starts out with character creation, as is standard in the Souls games, where you can choose your character class, gender, skin tone, hair color, and much more. This is very in-depth, and something that you could easily spend a significant amount of time on. I would have liked if they'd had better descriptions of what all the character classes are, and exactly what comes with them, but beyond that, it's all quite good. And once you're done with that, you're out into the world. Starting out, you begin in a dungeon of sorts, which acts in a sense as a way of getting used to the game's controls and experiencing death for the first time when you eventually reach the Grafted Scion, which acts as the first boss battle of the game. Soon after, you encounter a staple of the Souls games in the Sites of Grace, which acts as resting points in the game where you regain all lost health and mana and restore any flasks that you have so far. Flasks, by the way, are potions that you can use to do various things, like health and mana restoration and other effects. From the Sites of Grace, you can also level up if you have enough experience points, change your currently memorized spells, and much more. Continuing on from there, you'll come across messages by other players, and some from the developers. As you'd expect from random people online, some of these messages are useful, and others that you should probably ignore. Always be careful when choosing whether or not to take the advice given on one of those messages or not, as players do like to troll a little bit. Blood pools are not long after that, These act as short glimpses of the final seconds of other players who came to that spot only to meet their end. Take these as a warning of possible incoming threats, though others are just examples of how dumb some players can be. When you're done with the first dungeon, you then walk out into the outside world, and it's here that you get to see how beautiful this game really is. From here, where you go is completely up to you. Choose a direction or something in the distance that you want to see and try your best to get there, and then off you go in that direction to explore. This is one area of the game amongst many others that really shines bright immediately. Even the map that you see is a gameplay aspect of its own. On starting out, you'll see it with any sites of grace that you have encountered so far, and not much else. As you explore, you'll find locations that are also added to the map, which for sites of grace you can also fast travel to. You'll encounter various characters as you explore. Some offer quests to complete, and others you can trade with for items and other aspects. Just as with Breath of the Wild and Witcher 3, you gain access to a horse for vastly faster travel quite early on. This is super handy for fast travel firstly, which can get you past enemies that you may not want to fight, and it can be useful for doing jumps that you otherwise would be completely unable to do, which can be useful in acting as shortcuts to get past obstacles quickly, and just to get to places you want to be in a much faster fashion. If you're looking to be out exploring the world, this is the way to do it. As you traverse around the world, you'll eventually come across maps. These more properly illustrate set sections of your map, making areas far easier to navigate. With enough of these located, your main map will start to look much better, and much more detailed. The next bit of gameplay that is part and parcel of what makes a Souls game is its combat. You are going to be doing a hell of a lot of combat in this game, firstly as it's the only way to gain experience needed for leveling up, and for all the items that you can get from defeated enemies. The class and playstyle that you choose is going to play a big factor in how combat plays out. If you're melee, then attacking up close is what you'll be doing a lot of, or ranged if you're more of a magic user or just like, an archery kind of character. Dodging is a crucial combat skill to get accustomed to using, and stealth for when you want to avoid combat or to sneak up on an enemy. Beyond that, it's very straightforward. Select the enemy you want to attack, and then attack them whichever way you want. The same goes for defending as well, depending on the equipment that you have. Not all battles will be between you and opponents. Occasionally you'll come across groups of enemies fighting each other, which is pretty cool to see, and you have that choice of whether to just sit back and watch them fight each other, or to jump in and take on whoever survives. On the subject of combat, boss battles are a huge part of this game, and where the main frustrations with Elden Ring really show themselves. These can be extremely difficult parts of the game, and where you really need to get good at all of the combat mechanics that there is to work with this game. Not all of it is just about how you control, but it's also about learning just how everything works and what is needed to succeed at many of them. The best part is when you finally take down that difficult boss and finally get to proceed. The satisfaction that you gain from these moments is one of the aspects of the Souls series that always shines brightest, and in every single game that's been a factor. And it's just as much here.
Yes! 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 Yes!
In the game, you gain access to ashes, which can be used during boss battles to summon computer-controlled assistants to help you. These are definitely of major help, though they can be a bit dumb with their AI, which can get you killed a lot. Still definitely useful, however. When the computer-controlled help is not good enough, you're going to need the help of actual human players. In many of the boss encounters, making use of items that allow friendly players to help you is a must. For bosses, for example, like Millennia, Blade of Michaelia, and also for the final boss of the game, the Elden Beast, you're definitely going to need that help unless you are very good at this game. I highly recommend making use of those items for any boss battles that you get completely stuck at. Quests are a large aspect of the game. As you encounter the various NPCs that are present in the game, they'll often give you quests to complete. Many of these contain multiple steps and can take quite some time to complete. This is one aspect of the game where having either a walkthrough or handy tips website up on your browser is of major benefit, especially as many give you next to zero clues of where to go or what to do. The choices you make during these quests matter a lot too, and will play a factor in how things go at key points in the game. The enhancing of equipment is also something that you'll need to invest a significant amount of time into. It starts off quite easy, but with time you'll need to find more rarer minerals to do the upgrades. It's certainly important to do the upgrades, however, due to the bonuses they give to the equipment, which in the case of weapons can give you a major boost to your offensive capabilities. Speaking of equipment, just as in any other RPG, you'll find items and gear as you proceed through the game. Thankfully, there is no real item limit at play, so loot to your heart's content. Another common RPG standard that is required in Elden Ring is experience farming. In Elden Ring, just as with all the other Souls games, you acquire souls by defeating enemies and from some items that you find throughout the world. You'll need these souls to level up and to buy items from vendors. Farming is also required to get certain items from enemies with lower drop rates. Nothing ultra exciting, but just know that it's something that you'll be doing a fair bit of, especially if you want to be at the best that you can be. Next gameplay aspect is leveling up. Once you have enough souls and visit a site of grace, you can level up if you want. On leveling up, you must choose one attribute to level up 1 point. These attributes play a factor in what equipment you can wear, your offensive capabilities, and defensive. Pay close when leveling up to the stats displayed in the middle and right sections, as that will show you what each attribute directly affects. A key point in the game is when you gain access to the round table. This acts as a player hub of sorts, with some vendors and quest givers present. You'll be visiting this site often once you gain access to it. Very handy location. Some vendors also sell new spells and abilities. Be sure to make note of whichever is related to what you're looking to invest souls into. Through them, you gain access to some very nice abilities and spells that are essential for late game success. And that's about it on gameplay. That there is a massive amount of stuff in the game, and I'm likely forgetting a whole heap of other aspects, but those are the main ones that come to mind. On the subject of multiplayer, that is very much present in Elden Ring, though unlike past games where you could do co-op with other friends, as far as I know you're limited to just getting help with difficult bosses. Beyond that, you have to solo it alone. You can invade other players' games and vice versa, but those are only at specific locations. So unlike the early games, you don't have to worry about being invaded by hostile players during your dungeon runs or world exploration. Considering how bugged that was in the past games, I definitely prefer this way of doing it. Speaking of bugs, on the subject of bugs and technical issues, I do recall some bugs and issues happening during my playthrough of the game, though it was few and far between, like a tree's physics not working properly in the wind and things like that. Nothing major or game breaking, no like enemies spazzing out or anything like that, just here and there. For DLC, expansions, sequels, and spin-offs, as of this point in time in 2025, there has been no announcements for sequels to the game. A spin-off in the form of Elden Ring Night Rain was released this year, that is more of a roguelike game to that of the main game. It has far more of a multiplayer focus, with co-op being the primary style of gameplay there. A major expansion of the main Elden Ring game, in the form of Shadow of the Erdtree, was released in May of 2024, and includes a massive new land to explore, some new gameplay mechanics, and difficult boss battles to contend with. I've not played that yet, so can't say much on it, but it is apparently very good, so I'll have to give it a play at some point. And that's about all I have to say on Elden Ring, an outstanding RPG in the Souls series, and one I would have to say is by far the best in the series so far. There's just so much to do in the game that'll easily keep you busy for several months. It's a game that I would definitely recommend if you've not given it a play yet. Just go in expecting a high difficulty level, that's all. If you've enjoyed this video and would like to see more videos in the series, be sure to hit the subscribe button, and also just check out my channel for further videos and you will find out what else is available. And with that, this is Iceman of JReviews signing out. Guys, have a good one.